Hello there.
Hi.
If you're the first time you're seeing a video, I'm Lou, this is John.
Yep.
And we're back from our travels. We're taking a sabbatical in kind of chunks, aren't we? But we have tried to keep in touch, so you will have kept keeping videos and stuff. We're trying to keep that.
If you've been following our videos, you'll notice that this sort of hair has...
Yes.
We've stopped socially distancing from our hairdresser now, and normal service is almost resumed as soon as possible.
Yes.
Lou convinced me that I did not look quite cavalier and sort of young and free with my long hair. I just looked like an old man. So it's gone. So I look like an old man with short hair now.
Oh,
Yes.
so sympathy vote for John at the moment, and our marriage. I keep telling him, look like an old man.
Thank you. Right.
Anyway, keeping these videos short, you said that you really like that you can quickly kind of get in and
Yes.
dive into them quickly. This is a question, isn't it? What was the question that somebody asked?
The question somebody asked was basically what motivates change?
Okay, that's a really good question. We're going to do this in two parts, and I'm just going to quickly interview John and ask him, as an ex-drinker, what motivated you to change?
A very good question. I've told this story of my sort of point of change many times, and my wife had left me. I had blamed her for my drinking, because, well, I couldn't blame myself. It was blame everybody else except me. She had left, and I was still drinking exactly the same, so I really had nobody else left to blame. I ended up in a psychiatric ward told I had liver damage, brain damage, and I would have 6 months to live if I continued to take drink and drugs. Now, most people would say, well, okay, that's the reason you stopped. That's the motivation. And to be honest, it wasn't really, because there was many times during my drinking that I would be happy enough to die, because I just didn't, life wasn't really worth living. That was not the reason. The reason I wanted to stop drinking was because I hated what I had become.
Okay.
When I looked in the mirror and I saw this thing looking back at me, I thought, I don't like it.
Okay, so you're saying, because there's this well-held, very deeply held kind of narrative that a drinker to change has to get to the end of himself. That is still part of the kind of change narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to teach about change in a university, and one of the things I talked about was talking about hitting bottom, and there was the old sort of joke, but everybody's bottom's different. Ha ha ha. Yes, but now let's talk about it. And what is hitting bottom for one person could be just the start of something for somebody else. A story of there was a friend of mine who's an architect, and he was driving home in his Mercedes, and he swerved. He'd had a drink, swerved towards this a bus stop, and there was an old lady standing at the bus stop. He didn't hit her. Came fairly close, but he didn't hit her at all. But that was his moment. That was his moment, because what he saw was what could have happened. Another person, he was a secret drinker out in the shed. Wasn't that secret, but he thought he was. And his little kid came out, and he looked at him, and the disappointment in his son's eyes was bottom for him. For other people, it's, here I was in a hospital being told I had brain damage and liver damage. That wasn't bottom for me. What was bottom for me was it was in here. That's what was bottom for me.
Okay, can you clarify here, because we say a lot on the website, stop dissing your partner, stop putting all your rage at him, it gets all the guilt buttons and the shame buttons and makes it worse again. But hearing what you're saying, there is this kind of temptation, if he needs to see how bad he is, we'll keep telling them how bad he is. So what's the difference between you really coming to that point of self-hatred enough to change and us keep telling you, because I represent always the family of drinkers, how awful you are?
Yeah, well, the difference is in the word self.
Yeah, okay, so it's a self-awareness.
You can hate me. The world can hate me because I'm misunderstood.
Right, okay, yeah.
But when I hate me, that's a different matter. You know, that's the self-awareness. That's the realization of what I've become. You know, and that's quite different. Somebody else telling me, you know, I'm crap. Well, I got that all the time.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
That's, you know, get in line.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So you said what? Now how?
How?
Yes. Well, how does that impact someone who's waiting for their drinker to get to this magic point of?
It's a complicated business. And it's one of these things that's very difficult to reverse engineer. However, what I would say is it's a combination of carrot and stick.
Right. Okay. This is really important.
Yeah. Telling the person that they're crap is kind of, it's fairly usual because, you know, sometimes they'll be telling themselves they're crap as well. But but there's something good in there. It's also appealing to the person that's in there. There was some research done. It was about stopping smoking, and they tried to motivate people to stop. And what they were doing was they were showing them kind of a diseased lung for smokers. You know, and people were going, oh, that's horrible. You know, I must have a cigarette. You know, because my nerves are shot. They also showed, they got another group of people, they showed them the diseased lung, but they also told them, but if you stop smoking, this will happen. And, you know, then your lungs will return to normal, you know, you'll be fitter, you'll have less breathless. So they weren't only showing them, you know, how bad things could get, they were also showing them a way out. And if there's a door to get out,
Yeah.
that's also helps. That's what I'm saying, it's quite a complex thing. It's a balancing act between, you know, the person feeling really bad and feeling that they should actually be better. And sometimes it's calling out the nice person inside. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about love.
Yeah.
You know, about letting the negative things happen, but also, you know, optimizing your time with them and also valuing them and encouraging them. You know, these are the four things. And the reason they're all in there is because it is you know, it's a recipe almost, you know, a pinch of love, a pinch of optimism, a pinch of this, you know, and, you know, I wish I could say it was a really easy answer.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not a really easy answer. But it's the person, as I say, for me, it was about self-loathing, not about other people loathing me. You know, that was, I can drink, get rid of that.
Yeah. And we're going to stop here now because John's going to reverse this and talk to me as a, I mean, obviously I don't live with a drinker now, but I lived with a drinker if you've not seen these videos before for 29 years. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And we'll say goodbye and say, I hope you come to the next video in a couple of minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.